Alright folks, welcome back. We have a massive video today. You're going to want to stick all the way through this one because it is huge. It's very thorough and it's very informational. The article was posted yesterday, by the way. It's titled Triple Digit Silver by 2025, and boom, just like that, no more silver. Unless we invest in silver production, it's gone by late 2025. Now, this is a very lengthy and thorough article. So, folks, if you want the newest, latest precious metals news brought to you on a daily basis, which you should be, you cannot be blindly stacking in today's day and age, then look no further because I will do that on a daily basis, keeping you in the loop. And tomorrow's Monday, folks, which means Miles Franklin new gold and silver specials will be out. You can email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172, and I will let you know what the deals are, and we can place some orders. So let's jump into this. Silver's above-ground stockpiles are within 1 month of India or China's industrial use. Spot silver so close to the AISC means 2 or 3 shrewd industrialists or countries will take it all. And when I talk about everyone wanting a slice of the silver pie, but there's simply just not enough pie to go around, I mean that actually. When companies like Apple or Tesla realize that if you can't get your hands on silver, not only will your cost of production go up because the price, but you literally will not be able to make the product itself. When big industry, when companies realize that, how critical silver is for them to even be able to produce their product, that's when I think silver's natural price will shine. I've been talking about triple digit silver by the year 2025, 2026. Personally, I think by 2026, who knows though, it could be, I've been saying both of those years since 2019. It just adds up. Or I guess the math doesn't add up as we're trying to go green. We don't have enough silver to, but it just adds up in terms of how this is all playing out. And when it's undeniable, when, like I said, companies like Apple realize that they can't get their hands on silver, or they're going to be put in a situation where they're going to have to try to find a direct source, which hopefully, if some of these companies want to last, then they have to. And you're going to see in this video or in this article that this is not just a theory. This is not just me speculating, that this is real. Look at this. Silver above ground stockpiles are within 1 month of India or China's industrial use. 1 month. So let's keep moving on. Mexico moving to nationalize silver. Mexico producers have risks associated with Mexico's pending move to nationalization. Now, Maria Luisa Alvarez Gonzalez, Mexico's Secretary of Environment, was previously Mexico's Secretary of Welfare. And I'm not going to stop at too many points. I'm just going to try to read through this, and maybe I'll throw in my 2 cents. So she is the world's most talented and authentic politician, galvanizing campesinos, activists, laborers, environmentalists, professors, and has an astounding grassroots leadership, including calling the people of Mexico to be guardians of the territory. Silver Academy, the world's fastest growing commodity newsletters, obtained transcripts of Alvarez's campaign speeches, which they'll release soon. This will be crucial to the industry. So yada yada. Scarcity underscores the importance of our current situation. When I mention only 4, I'm referring to sources where silver is the primary product, not a byproduct of copper, zinc, or lead. This distinction is crucial for our strategic planning. So old guard influencers missed this entire story. Sucks to be them. A few months ago, I received pushback from the same old guard influencers for stating that fuel cell energy could overtake solar energy and move into 3rd place. Updated industrial usage chart. Number 1 is military. Number 2 is aerospace. Number 3, fuel cell, which is pending. Number 4, solar. 5, AI robotics. 6 plus 20,000 other industrial applications. Now, this is an important thing because in the Silver Institute's annual numbers, they say solar is the number 1 category for silver. Solar. But Slayer, there's 3 other categories that use more silver in the industry than solar. Exactly. The Silver Institute does not show any or input any data having to do with military or aerospace, which is very concerning since those are the biggest sectors. So when we talk about a demand of 1.2 billion ounces or a supply deficit this year of 250 million ounces, it's actually much bigger than that. 500 ounces of silver in a single Tomahawk missile, up to 11,000 ounces in some torpedoes. Here's why he said this, by the way. Below is a simple chart displaying the spot prices of silver and platinum, along with the ratio of how many times more expensive platinum is than silver over a series of dates. Finally, the table indicates the percentage price difference. Platinum is 3,700% more expensive, and silver is a better catalyst than platinum. And this is a great point of why I always talk about silver being more valuable than gold. Not value in dollar terms, value in what it brings to the table. If you're looking to invest into something, you're investing into its uses. How useful is it? Silver is extremely useful and it's extremely cheap. Gold isn't very useful and it's not very cheap. See the difference? Why is gold 80 times more valuable than silver when silver has 80,000 times more uses than gold does? So we have silver spot, and this was July 1st, 2024, 25.30. Platinum, $950. Platinum to silver ratio is 37.5. Platinum to silver percentage difference, 3,654%. So you can see all these different dates. Fuel cell potential dwarfs solar use potential. Hydrogen fuel cells as a superior alternative to EVs. 3. Silver emerges triumphant. Hydrogen fuel cells, or FCEVs, offer several advantages over traditional battery electric vehicles, or BEVs. They produce zero emissions, emitting only water vapor, and provide instant torque and consistent power, making them fun to drive with high performance and smooth acceleration. FCEVs can refuel in just 3 to 5 minutes, significantly faster than the charging time required for BEVs, and they offer a comparable range to gasoline vehicles, typically exceeding 300 miles per tank. Additionally, hydrogen fuel cells have higher energy density by weight, which helps overcome the range and weight challenges faced by batteries. That's very interesting. I haven't even really looked into hydrogen fuel cells or the difference between these, or something that could potentially, outperform or even replace electric vehicles in the coming future. So silver as a superior catalyst to platinum. Silver is emerging as a superior alternative to platinum as a catalyst in hydrogen fuel cells. Now I see where he's going with this. This would be extremely important. Let's break it down like this. Silver is irreplaceable. It's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. These are elements on the periodic table. They are irreplaceable. It's not made in the Earth's mantle or by volcanic rock or whatever. This stuff came here from asteroids and meteors. There's only so much silver on the Earth's or in the Earth's crust. A lot of it's already been dug up. A lot of it's laying in landfills. So if we're talking about silver being irreplaceable, but silver being replaced with other things, or for example, silver taking the place of other things like platinum, you could see why this would be pushing the silver shortage or the amount of time to silver's extinction back by a lot of years. I've actually showed a graph of how long until silver will be completely gone. It's like a chart of all the different things, gold, copper, all these different things. Silver had the shortest lifespan by far. And things like this just pushes those dates even quicker. We are quickly running out of silver. They're saying by 2025 or late 2025 it would be completely gone. Do I believe that is to be 100% fact or true? I don't know, but the data does show that we are running out of silver at an extremely alarming pace, especially given that the Silver Institute's numbers are extremely faulty. They're actually completely baseless. You cannot rely on those numbers because they don't even incorporate the biggest sectors at all. And the numbers are still astounding even though they don't, which is just crazy to think about. Nobody understands the severity of the silver shortage or the aftermath. Yeah, we all make a pretty penny, but at what cost? We're talking about silver needed to go or to advance digitally. And that is a huge deal, us advancing digitally and technologically. So, anyways, people always forget about ships, barges, ferries, yachts, boats, containers. If you bought it a ship, or if you bought a ship, you brought it. Or if you bought it, a ship brought it. Oh, I see. So if all electric vehicles were replaced by hydrogen fuel cells, including ships, barges, and ferries, it will result in a significant reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, assuming the hydrogen is produced from renewable sources. So this is a very long article, so I'm not going to go into all of this, the nitty gritty. I will post the, this link in the description. So let's keep moving on. So estimating the total energy use of all mentioned vehicles in the HVAC systems involves considering various factors. Cars and vans account for about 25% of global oil use, translating to significant energy consumption. Trucks, also a major consumer of energy, primarily diesel. Buses, similar to trucks with smaller shares. Ships, barges, ferries, yachts, boats, shipping alone accounts for 70% of global shipping energy emissions. Electric vehicles consumed about 130 terawatts of electricity in 2023. Now you could say that all of these oil-rich countries, all of the oil-rich countries in the Middle East, of course they don't want us to go green, right? That's their bread and butter. That's liquid gold. So you could see why Biden also pushing this Green New Deal is a slap in the face to them. So regardless, we're all headed towards going green. I feel, it doesn't matter. I feel like we are just going to go green no matter who tries to stop it or who tries to push what. But it is interesting to look at that, that side of the play as well, because like with the BRICS, you have them also, this was a theory that they were getting all the silver so we couldn't go green because we need all the silver for solar panels and EVs and everything. But there was also the theory that the BRICS are taking all the silver, or the countries in the BRICS like India buying so much in China, taking all the silver so we cannot go green. But anyways, there's probably several different reasons. I'm not saying that is a reason, but it is a possibility. So combining these factors, the transport sector alone accounts for about 30% of global energy use. Adding residential and commercial HVAC energy use, which is substantial, would significantly increase the total energy consumption. However, precise global figures for HVAC systems are not specified in the provided data. Remember our thesis that's been running each week in the Silver Academy. These are learning lessons. Number 1, industrial users of silver want low factory inputs to improve profit margins. 2, the same captains of industry have the connections and clout to serve dually on bank boards or engage someone on the trading desk. Naked short spoofs paper silver games. 3, paper traders of silver are ordered by big bosses to smash down silver to satisfy low factory inputs. 4, remembering if you wish to eat burgers daily, you should wish for low and high beef prices. 3-second riddle, if you guessed it, if you guessed low, you are correct. 1 barrel of oil has the same amount of energy as 25,000 hours of hard human labor, which is 12 and a half years of work. At $20 an ounce, or $20 per hour, that's $500,000 of labor per barrel. Right now, the barrel of oil is $70. Oil is required for almost all phases of production: home appliances, shipping, packaging, manufacturing, consumption, food prep, storage, and cooking. The futures market and military colonization distort its actual value. While there may be enough known reserves left for a few decades, the looming specter of oil scarcity is a concern that cannot be ignored. The potential future implications of this scarcity are significant and warrant our attention. Stephen St. Angelo states peak oil occurred a while back. Embarrassing, Biden drained strategic petroleum reserves to an absurd low before the midterm election to fool the villagers with low pump prices and maintain congressional votes at midterm. No one in mainstream media reported it this way, but we were kicking and screaming about it. Wow. So with the current market conditions, we may only have a brief window of 2 to 3 years of these meager oil prices before facing potential disruptions. It's fascinating to note that silver, a precious metal, shares some similarities with oil regarding its market dynamics and value. I've mentioned this a lot in the past. The comparison between, or the correlation between silver and oil. If you want an idea of what silver is doing or we're going to do, just look at oil. It is very similar. This comparison provides an interesting perspective on the unique role of oil in our industry. So for the latter half of this video, I want to share an article from the deepdive.ca talking about China's commodities stockpile could shake the world. This is an unseen threat. So this is very interesting. This was posted 3 days ago, so it's still extremely relevant, fresh off the press, and it does go hand in hand. Now we're going to talk about China. So over the past 2 decades, China has consumed vast amounts of raw materials to support its growing and wealthier population and its expansive industrial needs. However, despite recent economic challenges and a stated desire to shift away from resource-intensive industries, China's appetite for commodities has not only persisted but increased. And there was a lot of worry this year, actually news that broke like a week or two ago, that China was going to be pushing away from silver or, assets like silver, which people were worried would it influence or affect the numbers or the demand. And I always said I don't think that would really do much. I think it would be more of people worrying more than actually influencing the fundamentals. Because with a supply deficit this year of 250 million ounces and the amount of silver that we're going to continue to need, especially over the next few years. I mean, look at the last article you just covered in the first half of the video. I don't think that type of stuff would genuinely affect the market. But anyways, in 2023, China's imports of basic resources reached record levels, and the trend continued into the first 5 months of 2024 with a 6% rise in imports. This surge in stockpiling is largely driven by fears of geopolitical threats and potential disruptions in supply routes, which, yes, that was huge, especially in COVID. Actually, before COVID, we had the U.S.-China trade wars, if you guys remember that. That was the biggest news, was Trump battling China with the U.S.-China trade negotiations. But then everyone forgot about that because that led straight into COVID in 2020. China's dependence, and actually COVID made it even worse because then there were so many borders and boundaries and a lot of mines were shut, and Mexico produces so much, and Peru produces like half of the amount of global silver production, and they got hit hard, which a lot of their mines were closed, and even when they came back online, there was minimal workers and all these safety precautions, so it dramatically hurt any type of trade. So China's dependence on imported resources is significant, and that's a very important sentence. They are dependent on a lot of different resources. Despite being a major refining center for metals, China imports 70% of its bauxite, never heard of that, and 97% of its cobalt. Energy imports are also critical, with the country bringing in 40% of its natural gas and 70% of its crude oil. The food sector is particularly vulnerable, with China importing 85% of the 125 million tons of soybeans needed annually to feed its livestock, especially pigs. So then we can go into stockpiling history. And actually, real quick, the U.S. is also reliant on a lot of things. The main point we talk about is silver, especially like with Eagles. That's why the U.S. mint has been struggling so hard, is because we're relying on other mints like Sunshine Mint to get our silver planchets. That's a whole other rabbit hole we don't have to dive into. But there's a lot of different, I guess, problems that could arise if countries start or stop negotiating with each other, or when there is a border breakdown or anything that has to do with that, when countries are so reliant. And right now, that is interesting to look at China and looking at those types of numbers. I mean, it's 85% reliant. It's importing 85% of its food, right? The food sector is really vulnerable. So stockpiling history. The impetus for China's current stockpiling can be traced back to several key events. In 2018, then President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Chinese exports. And then, this is like the U.S.-China trade wars. China to retaliate with duties on American soybeans. Then COVID further disrupted. Oh, that's what I was literally just saying. I haven't even read this yet. Then COVID further disrupted global supply chains and raised commodity prices. That's funny. I'm glad that they actually brought that in, because that's very important to look at. The U.S.-China trade wars and then COVID, which made it even worse. The war in Ukraine exacerbated these issues, demonstrating potential for major powers to use embargoes as a strategic tool. So now we can go into the binge. I don't really want to go into this. But we could go into the metals. The metal sector, China's inventory buildup since 2018 is substantial, with reserves covering at least 35% to 133% of its annual demand. Depending on the metal, gas storage has also increased, with current reserves sufficient for 23 days of consumption, up from 15 days 5 years ago. This is expected to increase to 28 days by 2030. So China's rapid accumulation of commodities has raised concerns in the U.S., particularly regarding potential inflationary effects on global commodities prices and strategic implications of China's actions. And that is exactly what we're talking about when we're looking at the Shanghai exchange, or why silver's $4 higher in China than it is the U.S., and the power going from west to east, and how they're using this global suppression, or they're using this price suppression to their advantage, and then they're going to kick it up. When you juxtapose that against China's military buildup, it's starting to be very concerning. And yes, especially when you look at silver winning wars. Silver wins wars. Silver's needed for so much and actually looking back at that article, right? Silver, the main sector that uses the most silver is military. So if China's importing all this silver and using all of it, which it could be gone by 2025, what happens when we're still in wars in 2030 or 2028 even, or 2035? If silver's gone by 2025 and we're still going to be pushing wars, then you could see how that could be very concerning. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will post this link in the description. I also wanted to mention that there's a fundraiser for my mother. She has surgery tomorrow. We've raised $1,650. The goal is $4,000, and that's because she has her surgery tomorrow. She's been battling breast cancer since 2021. And she'll be out for over a month, which is a terrible time, because that means she's not going to be able to pay rent for even longer. She's already had so many surgeries, making this horrible for her. She can't work too much because then she'll lose her medical benefits. So she's literally having to work less, making less, to be able to qualify for her medical benefits. So she could make a lot more money, but she can't, or she'll lose those benefits, which is just so messed up. It's so messed up. I've been trying to take care of her since 2021, but I have my own daughter and bills to take care of. So this really helps out. Like, she cried when she saw this number today. It's a huge relief of stress, especially, you cannot be stressed battling breast cancer. You cannot be stressed like that, especially going into a surgery. So this has been a huge relief, knowing that her bills will be taken care of. So yeah. And it helps me out because it's very hard for me to take care of my mom's bills, which, is very expensive on top of my own bills. My daughter's daycare is $540. Pay the mother of my child $600 a month. My rent's $2,000. My car's $550. It's very expensive. So I really do appreciate you guys helping her out. It means the world to me. So yeah. Anyways, folks, I love you all. Make sure, if you guys wanted to donate, I'll post the link in the description with the pinned comment. And if you guys wanted to check out this article, I'll link in the description. If you guys wanted to join the Secret Silver Society, which is a secret club for silver stackers, every month, one member in the group wins silver. We do a silver raffle on the 31st of every month, so it's quickly coming up. We only have 3 days until the first raffle happens, and a member's going to win. Basic members get 1 raffle ticket per month. Elite members get 2 raffle tickets, but plus the members only discussion board is extremely fun. Come join and introduce yourself. You can post pictures in there. We have lots of different conversations, links to stuff. We just have a huge conversation live, everyone in there. It's a lot of fun. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.